A judge in Ontario today has set a very dangerous precedent for what it means to be able to fight for your own freedoms. Today, they had denied Tamara Lich bail. For what exactly? Well, the charges were counseling to commit mischief. In other words, they are holding her in prison until trial based on mischief. Which was only made illegal, by the way, because of the Emergencies Act, because all it was a peaceful protest, a demonstration. But Trudeau, being who he is, painted it and manipulated the masses into believing it was something it wasn't. And should we be surprised? Probably not. But it gets a little weirder. So, the fact that they are making it so that she has been denied bail for mischief makes it very interesting when a man named... where is it? The man named Zegarac is facing 11 charges after attempting to murder protesters with his SUV. He tried to murder peaceful protesters with his vehicle and was put out into the public again on bail. Now let that sink in. Somebody who protests stays in prison. Somebody who attempts to murder somebody and only injures them gets to go back out in the street. He won't do it again. No way. But that person protesting and fighting for freedoms, oh, I believe she's going to do it again. And that's exactly what Julie Bourgeois decided to say. She actually ended up saying that there is a substantial likelihood that Tamara Lich would reoffend if released. Reoffend. Weird choice of words for a protest, right? Now how can this get any weirder? How could this get any stranger? That's right. She used to run as a Liberal MP. In fact, she was running as early as 2011. Julie Bourgeois knows she'll have to fight hard to reclaim the riding from two-term Conservative MP Pierre Lemieux. She is a local assistant Crown attorney and a seasoned debater with a degree in political science and criminology. She's methodical. She's good at debate, and she was a Liberal. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's probably no reason to jump to any conclusions just yet. I mean, a judge can be on either side and still be unbiased. Well, there's a video resurfacing of Justin Trudeau and his love for this woman. So why don't we take a listen to his own words and just see how the bias starts to build up.
It's an extraordinary pleasure for me to tell you how much I have great admiration for Julie Bourgeois. Her vision, her authenticity, her strength is going to be an amazing asset both to the people of Glengarry, Prescott, Russell, but also to everyone in the House of Commons after the next elections when I will have hopefully the honor of sitting beside her in the House. Thank you very much.
Some people would think that's just Trudeau being polite, but wasn't she the hand-picked judge for this little, let's call it a demonstration of the new powers? It seems a little far-fetched to believe that a judge would play this game when so many child rapists, murderers, violent offenders, wife-beaters, every single scummy human on the earth has a chance at bail, but you stand up for yourself, you stick up for your country, you stick up for freedom, and the right to choose makes you worse than all of them. Why is that? Well, there isn't a good reason, other than Trudeau just doesn't want any pushback. So why not get somebody who he clearly admires to do his dirty work for him? If this is going to be done in any non-biased way whatsoever, they have to use a different judge. There's too much bias, and that makes her unfit for any kind of judgment on these people. Crime or not. And I believe there is no crime. The fact that they're even holding her in prison for mischief is just sad. It's just sad. But she is not able to be unbiased in this. She has way too many connections with the people that are in power right now, in this regard, to have any form of valid judgment. There needs to be a different judge put in place that gets voted on for both sides to take over this case. It's the only way to remain impartial, because this seems overkill. And I know everybody's going to cry on the internet, but white supremacy. Nah, that was never this cause. Never once. I've seen so many people of different race, creeds, colors, beliefs join together against these mandates. And your one little escape of boo-hoo, white supremacy, it's because you can't think for yourself. You're told we're terrorists for going against Trudeau, and you sit there with your thumb in your ass, scratching your belly button lint, believing every single thing he's vomiting into your mouths. But if you want the legal system to do its due diligence, you need somebody that isn't this connected to the Prime Minister. Let's face it. And I know what you're probably saying, but all the judges are connected. Well then, if that's the case, vote on a judge. Bring it up in Parliament. If you want these people to actually have a fair chance, instead of letting a tyrant dictate what we can and cannot do as free people now, then I'm sorry, you're not Canadian. Move to China, move to Russia, move to North Korea, experience that communism that you always wanted, experience the dictatorships you've always wanted. I live in Canada. In Canada, you have the right to choose. You have the right to be gay. You have the right to be straight. You have the right to be a woman or a man, but just based on who you are inside. You have the right to believe in any religion. You have the right to be whoever or whatever you want. But why is it that when you fight against the government for your right to choose what goes in your body, you get fought on? Abortion's legal. There's every reason for that to be legal. Whether it's rape or somebody's going to die because they're having the child and they just can't get through it. There has to be reasons that you can pick and choose what to do with your body. I'm all for freedom. I don't believe anybody should be treated like they're everybody else. No one person is the same. Whether you're genetically identical twins, you are not the same. What you put in your body is different every single day. What you eat is different. How you act is different. Where you go is different. You can't treat the public like they're mass-produced when we're not. We may have a big population, but it's all different products. It's 7 billion different items. And that's if we're going on a layman's terms kind of a route with this. So when you're fighting against other people's right to choose whether they want to follow these mandates, which aren't even really law, by the way, if you want to fight people with these mandates and you want them to bend the knee, you have to realize something. One day that's going to happen to you. And if you fight back, you're a hypocrite. And if you fight back, you're just a garbage human being. Because guess what? The tables have turned. Now I can put as much vitriol out there, as much rhetoric as I want, to make you out to be the bad guy. Oh, you do something I don't like? White supremacist, racist, homophobic. I'm none of those things. I've slept with a dude just to see what it was like. I'm not racist. Never once have been. I'm not homophobic. I don't care what you believe in terms of religion. I don't care what you do in your day-to-day life. It does not bother me. But the fact that you're trying to force me to do something I don't want to do, even though I've been vaccinated twice, I'm not going for a third. The second one almost killed me. I can't be forced to do it because you're too much of a pussy to go back into society. And here's another thing. Those mandates that you're trying to force on to everybody, guess what? When they're gone, you can still live by them. You can wear your mask where you go. You can get as many vaccine boosters as you want. But guess what? You don't have to force that onto your neighbors. You're already vaccinated. You're wearing your mask. You're already protected. What does me not wearing my mask in public or in a store or in a restaurant change? You don't wear your masks in restaurants anyway. Or do you eat through them somehow? Do you just assimilate the food? No, you don't assimilate it. You eat it with your mask off. It's time to get over the fear. And it's time to stop letting these people have as much control as they do. It's really disappointing to see how this is playing out, and it's so obvious that there's so much bias towards these people because Trudeau's a pussy. He was a big pussy who couldn't have a conversation because it would hurt his ego and it would take away his powers. It would make him lose millions because he's got investments in in one of the companies that deal with the lipid gene or whatever the fuck it was. He's got money riding on this. You may not see it, but every single decision he's making is fueling his bank account. It's not fueling ours, it's fueling his. So before you turn on your neighbor, start reading between the lines and start looking at both sides. Because that's what I've always been doing. I always look at both sides. I just know which side to pick at which time. And Justin Trudeau's side is not in the right. Hasn't been for 2 years. So hopefully, I hope beyond hope, people will start waking up. And they'll start seeing that if we continue expanding these emergency powers and the government overreach and these mandates, all we're doing is mass producing sheep. And that doesn't help anybody. We have to have freedom. It's not racist, it's not white supremacy, it's freedom. Freedom for everybody. How is that so hard to fight for? Why do people get so pissed off about it? Oh, but COVID's scary. Fuck off. Just fuck off. It's time. If you're so scared of it, wear your mask, put on your hazmat suit, get your vaccines weekly for all I care. As long as you're doing it because of your choice, not because you're being forced to do it. And that's why I'm so pissed off that these supporters of Trudeau can't see past the vitriol. They can't see past the lies. They can't see the influence that is influencing him. And it's really annoying to see because it's so visible. Like, usually politicians are better at hiding this type of shit, but Trudeau has lost all sense of needing to hide anything. He's just got it all out there, all over the place. So, before you start cheering that Tamara Lich is still in prison, just remember that could be you. When you're fighting for something you believe in. And do you want to be treated the same? Do you want to have the rhetoric, the vitriol spit at you the same way? What would happen if, let's say, BLM? I completely agree that they should be protesting. But what if they started getting treated like this? What if the media started taking the leaders of BLM and throwing them in prison and denying them bail strictly because of their beliefs? And then what if everybody just started calling them all the N-word, right? What if they started doing that? It's the same thing as just calling every white guy a white supremacist. It makes no sense. You're just generalizing a group of people because you have no argument. So just remember, when you cheer for Tamara to be put in prison, that could be you when you fight for something you believe in. Don't let that be what Canada stands for. Don't let Justin Trudeau ruin this. He's already taken it so far, I don't even know how many decades it would take to repair what he's done. But just remember where you would be if you were in their shoes. And if you were fighting for something that you truly, truly had faith in and believed to your core. Don't let this have to become you. So, that's all I wanted to say. And I feel sorry for Tamara Lich to be stuck in there. And I feel sorry for all the people that think that this is a victory. Because in reality, all you're doing is losing yourselves. And it's really quite disappointing.